defense. What do you see that's made them so effective?
I believe just them being able to like their third down packages, and they got some interior stunts that kind of hinders the run game. But if we're going to start off fast, you start off fast and run the ball on them and keep them out of their third down packages. Really, we could demolish them. I believe personally up front.
All right, that was Auburn offensive lineman Brandon Council, who is entering his seventh season of college football. He actually signed with Akron, excuse me, coming out of high school. So this is year 7 for him in college football. And if it sounded like he was confident, that's not all he said during his meeting with reporters in Auburn on Wednesday. First, let's talk about this for a little bit because, first of all, we don't live in a world where something is certainly going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen Saturday. And that goes for all of us. That goes for Brandon Council, me, everybody. We don't know. But we can tell now that Auburn is going to try to run the ball against Georgia, which is an effective strategy. When you can do that, it works. Okay. So there's a couple of issues here, though. First of all, Auburn is not horrible on the ground. They're 66th in the country, 159 yards per game. Georgia's allowing 89 yards a game. That's number 12 in the country. And so that's going to be a stiff challenge for Auburn. Number two, Kirby Smart has been very effective against Auburn through the years. And number three, this is the first big home game since Kentucky a season ago. And unfortunately for Council, this is the type of thing that gets people really hyped up. And the players at Georgia are going to hear about this. They already have, I'm sure. So this is just as Georgia was going out to practice. That's not all he said. By the way, I don't think what he was saying was stupid. I think there's plenty of truth to some of this stuff. Now, I don't know how he can necessarily declare some of these things, but this is what he said. He said the guys that come out, I don't think they trust them. And he's talking about the defenders, Georgia, when they swap players going into third downs. He said, I don't think they trust them. If we keep them out there on third down, if we keep them out of third down where they can't bring packages and have their main guys on the field, we're just going to run the ball on them all day because they're going to get tired. Which is like a really awesome concept. And, if all you had to do was run the ball, 5 yards a clip, then that would be a great strategy. But the problem is that doesn't happen all the time. So that's a challenge, generally speaking. He goes on to say, we have a chance to go down there. He was asked about Auburn. He brought it up, not winning at Georgia since 2005. The truth is, Auburn's not won against Georgia a lot since 2005. So yes, they've not won in Athens, but they've struggled just generally speaking against Georgia since 2006. And he had we have a chance to go down there, go out there and do something that's not been done in a long time. That's beat Georgia at Georgia. That would be a big thing. Our goal is to go in like a SWAT team, in and out, quiet the noise, and beat their behinds and get out. All right, couple things first. Number one, if you like my shirt and you want DAWGSTRUCTION, you can get that. There's 2 ways how. First of all, if you order the book with the link down below, because you're not going to be in Athens, you need to email me immediately. Tell me what size shirt you've got, and I will get you this shirt for free, included in the cost with this. Okay? If you are in Athens on this, right now, and you're seeing this, you can go into Red Zone on Clayton Street, grab the book, and get the shirt for free. It's a $20-something value. Check it out today. The link is down below. With that said, the problem with going in like a SWAT team is normally the people that the SWAT team is coming to go get, they don't know the SWAT team's coming. Everybody's well aware that Auburn is on the way to Athens. And I think the problem, these guys, they mean well when they say these things. They do. I mean, I remember I think it was Sanders Cummings, talking about playing against LSU in the 2011 SEC championship game, and like nobody gave Georgia any chance. Well, all of a sudden that game was in the third quarter and the Dogs had the lead. So you do have to have a particular mindset when you go into these games. Um, I do think Auburn's playing better, frankly, than they were. I'm not. They've lost their last game. The last game they played, and they probably should have lost the game before that. But I'm just saying, they're playing better than they did when they played, Mercer, and particularly San Jose State and Penn State. But I'm not sure I would advertise this real loud. The problem too that Auburn's going up against is that in games against Power Five teams, they're not averaging huge numbers. They're averaging about 100 yards a game on the ground. So 119 against Penn State. They had 82 against Missouri. And then against LSU, they had 101. So they're averaging right at 100 yards a game. I'm just going to tell you, as a person who watches Georgia every single day, it does not get better typically for the team. So, we don't know what we don't know. I know this. This was a tactical mistake. This was a mistake. This was an unforced error. Um, this sounds ridiculous, but this is the type of thing that, coupled with the comeback against Missouri, that gets Georgia's season right back to where it was about a week ago. So, I when you're in your early 20s, now when you're in your seventh year of college, you should not make this mistake. But when you're in your early 20s, you don't know what you don't know. You don't realize that mistakes can happen, and sometimes I know when I was in my 20s, I said a lot of stuff I should not have said. I was arrogant and brash, and most young athletes are that way. Okay, but what Auburn's getting into on Saturday, they've not seen that this season yet. They have played home games against Auburn. Excuse me, Auburn's played home games against Penn State, Missouri, and LSU. They have not played on the road. Boy, let me even see. Since this South Carolina game a year ago that they lost. Oh man, have they not? So they lost to South Carolina on the road. They lost to Texas A&M on the road. They beat Arkansas. That was a great win for them, by the way. Um, and they beat LSU last year on the road. And obviously, they lost to Penn State. But this particular team has not seen a road game yet. The quarterback, Robbie Ashford, he has not been on the road yet. He got his first couple starts here lately against Missouri and LSU. If I read it correctly, this was the first start for Council, the guy saying this stuff, this season at Auburn. I don't know if it's for his first start ever, but I know he was injured in 20, and then kind of came back in 21. So I don't know if it's his first start total at Auburn, but he was a 3-year starter at Akron. So this is an unforced error. And Kirby Smart will use any stupid thing he can use to geek his team up. And that's what just happened. I mean, I don't know who's going to win the game, but I know who the 30-point favorite is. I don't know who's going to win the game, but I know where the game is played. I don't know where I don't know who's going to win the game, but if Georgia doesn't whip Auburn's ass, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be pissed off in Athens. And then I don't mean if Georgia doesn't win. If Georgia doesn't win, people are going to jump off a cliff. If Georgia doesn't whip Auburn's ass, people are going to be mad. So you can't you can't go in with that mindset. You have to go into the mindset of playing the game that you're supposed to play and not worry about the chirping. We saw what happened last week with chirping. That's not Georgia's game. Okay, it might be Auburn's, I don't know, but that's not Georgia's not good at that. And Nazir Stackhouse talked about that earlier this week. Here's another thing. I don't think I read this. Yeah, I did. Talking about running the ball and getting them tired. That is a great, if you can do that, that is awesome. It's hard to do that. I mean, I think the last time Georgia got tired was against Alabama in 21. I don't think they were tired against Florida in 20. I'm not sure if they were tired against Alabama in 20 either. They just got beat. This team doesn't really get tired, you know. They rotate guys. Now, Jalen Carter not being out there is not ideal. I'll just tell you that right now. This is not an ideal situation. It's not what you want. But you know, a week ago, I'm trying to remember, you know, if Georgia a week ago allowed 150 yards rushing on the road. I do not think they did. I think it was a very contained game. You get credit for that long run. You know, that counts. But for the most part, you know, Missouri had a hard time running against Georgia, and you know that I think what concerns me the most for Auburn here is their lack. I mean, you've got exceptional running backs in Tank Bigsby and Jarquez Hunter. These guys are legit. You also have an extremely wiggly and athletic quarterback in Ashford. Ashford, you know, had a 24-yard run against LSU. That was a longer run than Tank had. But you know, if Penn State basically shut down Auburn, it's going to be tough for Auburn to go on the road and get this done against the Dogs. I I think you got to be who you are, but sometimes you don't want these unforced errors. And this was an unforced error by this young man. It's not really like a grave error, but I'm telling you that this is not what you wanted, because whether you were going to sneak up on them or not, I mean, damn man, you're a 4 touchdown dog here, and like now you've pissed them off. By the way, Mizzou had 102 yards rushing against Georgia, and that's going to include that 63-yard run. So they just really had a hard time running the ball. Um, it was tough out there, but you know the 63-yard run. I mean, that counts. You know, it totally counts. But you can't count the W because it didn't exist. Um, I don't know, man. I think this was an unforced error. Make sure you're picking. If you want this shirt for free, you go into Red Zone on Clayton, or you pick up DAWGSTRUCTION below. But you have to email me, or I won't know what to send you. You need to email me quick, Dean at dogpost.com.